Do you think Toprak Razgatlioglu can adapt to the new Yamaha M1 V4 and the Michelin tires in time to fight at the front in the 2026 Thailand MotoGP season opener? Toprak Razgatlioglu is counting the days until he can get back on track at the 2026 Buriram MotoGP preseason test scheduled for February 21st to 22nd in Thailand. For him, this test is more than just preparation. It is a key turning point after a slightly disappointing first encounter with MotoGP machinery at the Sepang test in Malaysia. At Sepang, Toprak's debut on the Yamaha M1 V4 did not go as smoothly as many fans had hoped. Coming into MotoGP as a WorldSBK champion, expectations were sky high. Yet his lap times and overall feeling on the bike showed that the adaptation from Superbike to MotoGP is far from easy. That experience has become fuel for change. Because of those results, Toprak and the team are planning a much more aggressive approach for Buriram. "We might try some different settings in Buriram, because I need help with cornering and getting more grip," Toprak explained as he began preparing for the next test. "The focus is clear: improve corner entry, mid-corner stability, and drive out of the turn without destroying the rear tire." Those unsatisfying early results have made Toprak even more determined to close the gap to the leaders, especially Alex Marquez, who topped the timesheets in the previous test session. With the 2026 MotoGP season scheduled to start on March 1st, with the Thailand Grand Prix as the opening round, every lap at Buriram will be critical. This final test before the lights go out will be Toprak's last chance to properly measure his performance and fine-tune his adaptation to the new machine. Toprak's 2026 MotoGP debut is loaded with challenges. One of the biggest is the switch to Michelin tires, which behave very differently from the Pirellis he mastered in WorldSBK. On top of that, the Pramac squad has repeatedly reminded him to play it safe while he is still learning the limits of the M1 V4, limiting how much he can ride on instinct. The WorldSBK champion has openly admitted that he is struggling to fully adapt his aggressive superbike style to the more precise, sensitive character of a MotoGP bike, especially at the rear. If the Pirelli tires in WorldSBK slip, it's still easy to control. But if the Michelin tires slip, they don't stop. Other riders are more familiar with these tires, but for me it's very difficult. The team always says ride smooth, but saying it is easy. Doing it is difficult, Toprak told Crash.net. This single comparison between Pirelli and Michelin sums up his situation. In WorldSBK, he could afford to break the rear loose, slide the bike, and still manage the situation with his incredible feel. In MotoGP, the Michelin rear offers a massive amount of initial grip but can punish any abrupt input. When it lets go, it does so much more violently, and recovering that slide is far harder, especially while the rider is still learning the edge of the envelope. To speed up his adaptation, Toprak has decided to lean heavily on his Pramac teammate, Jack Miller. Miller is well known for his experience on different MotoGP packages and his ability to carry speed through long, sweeping corners, exactly the kind of riding Toprak needs to improve. "Jack helped me a lot. I followed him for a few laps to understand how to take some corners that are still difficult for me. I'm strong in braking, but long corners are still a problem. Jack is very strong in long corners," said Toprak. This is a crucial point. Toprak's trademark strength has always been braking, diving deep into the corner, rear wheel hopping and sliding, stopping the bike later than almost anyone else. But MotoGP, especially with the Michelin rear and a V4 engine, demands more than just heroic braking. Long radius corners and high-speed direction changes require a very smooth flowing style, precise throttle application, and trust in the front and rear tires at extreme lean angles. The Sepang test, although not perfect, did bring some positive signs. Toprak did not reach his target of a 1 minute 57-second lap, but his times were clearly improving as the days went on. Each session, he inched closer to the pace, proving that he was starting to understand what the Yamaha M1 V4 wanted from him. He and the team spent a lot of time experimenting with different setups, changing geometry, electronics, and tire usage strategies to help him find a base setting that feels natural. The fundamental gap between a superbike and a MotoGP machine continues to be one of the biggest obstacles. On a superbike, Toprak is used to using the rear tire as a tool, sliding it deliberately to help the bike turn and to launch it off the corner. In MotoGP, especially with this new V4 configuration, opening the throttle must be smoother and more calculated. Too aggressive on the gas and the Michelin rear can either spin and overheat or snap suddenly, costing time and potentially causing a crash. On the Yamaha M1 V4, every millimeter of throttle, every degree of lean, and every electronic setting matters. Traction control, engine braking, and power maps need to be perfectly matched to Toprak's style, and that requires time and data. Two things Yamaha is still collecting. Still, despite all of these difficulties, Toprak remains optimistic. He believes that with enough patience, the right setup work, and continued guidance from his teammate and engineers, he can unlock the potential of this new package. The Buriram test on February 21st to 22nd is set to be a decisive moment, the last intensive trial before the fight truly begins at the Thailand Grand Prix on March 1st. On the Yamaha side, there is also a huge amount of pressure. Yamaha sporting director Massimo Meregalli has already acknowledged just how difficult it is to significantly increase engine power on the current M1 V4. Even so, the factory is fully committed to squeezing every bit of performance out of this new project. Meregalli has repeatedly asked Toprak to be patient and trust the process. According to him, the current Yamaha has excellent stability and good balance, but is still lacking in top speed and overall power. Engine development is ongoing, but the Japanese factory is dealing with several obstacles: technical, regulatory, and time-related. The part we must continue to develop is speed, because this motorcycle is already very comfortable to ride and its balance is good. The performance of the bike is not bad, but its speed still needs further development, Meregalli told motorsport.com. The preseason test at Sepang earlier this month highlighted just how challenging this phase is for Yamaha. The Iwata-based factory could only manage fifth among the manufacturers, struggling to fully exploit the potential of the latest M1 V4 engine. The test was further complicated by incidents. In the opening session, Fabio Quartararo crashed and suffered a broken finger, disrupting Yamaha's testing program. On the second day, the team was forced to suspend operations due to an FIM investigation related to engine safety, cutting even deeper into their track time. As we can see, everything is new now and we don't have enough data yet. We will understand the challenges better when we test in Sepang and Buriram with the same components, Meregalli said, trying to calm the atmosphere within the team and give confidence to his riders, including Toprak. He has also been sending a clear message to Toprak: don't panic and don't judge the project too early. Yamaha believes that as the season progresses, the combination of rider adaptation and technical development will gradually close the gap to the front. Meregalli even used a vivid analogy to describe the relationship between Toprak and the new bike. The Yamaha M1 V4 is like a new boyfriend. We need to get to know each other. I expect a difficult first half of the season and good results after the summer. We are also working with a goal for 27. The goal is to maintain the advantages of the old M1, but add whatever was missing to the new M1 V4. Right now, Yamaha's engineers are working flat out on the M1 engine and the overall package. The calendar is unforgiving. The opening MotoGP round is approaching rapidly, and every day counts. They must find more power without losing the rideability and balance that have traditionally been Yamaha's strengths. For Toprak, the story is similar. He must blend his spectacular, aggressive style with the smoother, more calculated approach that MotoGP demands. He needs to learn when to attack like the Toprak everyone knows, and when to be patient, gentle on the throttle, and precise rather than wild. Buriram will be the next big test of this adaptation process. Will the setup changes give him that much-needed extra grip in long corners? Can he close the gap to riders like Alex Marquez? And will Yamaha's engine development take a visible step forward before the first race? All of these questions will start to be answered when the bikes roll out in Thailand.